Okay, so for problem 2, we actually solved it in problem 1. There's just a few things that we need to take note of. The problem starts off the same, but the second sentence says, at this rate, if n is the number of years after 2014, which we already used our variable as n, which of the following functions, f, gives the number of miles of paved road there will be in county X? So we have our equation from the first one. I had written it as t equals 783 plus 8n. That was our equation from the first one that we used to solve it. They want our function's name to be f. So t was the total number of miles of paved road there were. Instead of t, they want our function to be named f. So I change it to an f. However, in what's called function notation, we also have to tell what the name of our variable is. I can see that my variable's name is n, so in parentheses next to it, we put an n. Again, this is just a notation. This is just a way of writing something. It's just a fancy way of writing it in math, telling us that our function's name is f, and the variable that we're using is n. That's what this notation means. Either way, looking at the options, it looks like choice C is the correct answer. It is in function notation, and it has the same equation. Now, for part 3, or question 3, it's the same situation again, but it wants to know, at this rate, at the rate that they are increasing, which is 8 roads per year, or 8 miles of road per year, in what year will County X first have at least 1,000 miles of paved road? Well, looking at my equation, f of n, that's a strange f, equals 783 plus 8n. It's important to know what our variables stand for. Remember, n was the number of years since 2014, whereas f of n, the whole thing, both letters, represented the miles of road. They gave me a nice hint. Make sure that you read the words after. They said 1,000 miles of paved road. So what they actually gave me was f of n. I'm going to replace f of n with what they told me. We replace both the f and the n. All of it should disappear. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get rid of f of n, and in its place, I'm going to write 1,000, because they said I have 1,000 miles of paved road. The right side of my equation stays the same. Now, anytime we have a problem like this, our job is to get the variable, in this case n, by itself. We undo different numbers that are on the same side as n in order to get n by itself. So I like to take care of addition and subtraction first. In this case, I have a 783 being added to 8n, so I'm going to undo that with the inverse operation of subtraction. I'm going to subtract 783. Now, in math, whatever we do to one side of our equal sign, we must copy or also do on the other side of the equal sign. So now I'm going to go ahead and compute 1,000 minus 783. If we do our math, should end up being 217. 783 minus 783 becomes 0, or it cancels out, and we're left with 8n on the other side. So I have 217 equals 8n. 8n means 8 times n. So to undo multiplication by 8, I need to divide by 8. Again, whatever I do on one side of my equal sign, I need to also do on the other. So what I'll get is that n equals, and when I divide 217 by 8, I get 27.125, if I type that in my calculator correctly. Meaning, it's going to take, n is the number of years, 27 years, 0.125, that many years after 2014. But we can really only count in full years. So, since it will take another full year to get at least 1,000 roads, while this is the exact answer, it will take at least 28 years in order for us to have 1,000 roads in County X. If we want to figure out what year that is, we take 2014 and we add on that 28, and we find that in the year 2042 is when we will have 1,000 miles of road. If you have questions, feel free to ask a math teacher. Otherwise, you can replay this video.